Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Now for today's video, we're going to be doing part 7 of the reacting to the worst aquariums I could find series.
Ciao. Anyway, so
it really needs a new name, but I don't know what to go with. So reacting to the worst aquariums I could find, it is. But today I went ahead and scoured the internet and picked some interesting aquariums, let's say, for us to check out today. Now we're going to start off strong here. You know we don't go into these easy. Take a look at this. This looks to be like a cheap beta fish aquarium, probably 20 or 30 bucks, probably a 2-gallon hexagon aquarium. But if you notice, more than half the tank is pretty much empty, and another third of the tank is just sand. This looks like this person bought the 5-pound bag of sand that's made for like a 5-gallon aquarium and dumped the whole thing into this tiny hexagon aquarium. No fish needs like a 5-inch sand bed. Like, this is just so uncalled for. Notice the layer of poop and rotting food on the bottom of the aquarium. I don't think there's a fish in there, luckily. Well, not luckily, it probably passed away due to its home looking like this. The tank's basically evaporated, almost all the way gone at this point. Horrible tank, no heater, barely working sponge filter. Facebook Marketplace yet again. Disappointing. Now, I actually found a lot from Facebook Marketplace today, so this next one is also from Facebook Marketplace. This is someone selling an aquarium for $100. The aquarium really doesn't look that bad, but there's an Oscar in there. This looks to be like a 29-gallon aquarium, maybe even a 20-gallon aquarium, but that Oscar in there is huge. It needs like a 55, 75-ish gallon tank minimum for this guy. I mean, he's almost full grown, he's huge, and that tiny aquarium is just not doing it for him. There's a heater in there, there's a pretty big filter, but really the tank size, come on guys. You know, do your research. Minimum tank sizes are there for a reason. But honestly, $100 isn't that bad for a complete established aquarium, as long as it comes with, you know, all the accessories. So hopefully someone bought this and will give this Tiger Oscar a nice, better, and bigger home. This next one right here is an Amazon review for Aquarium mini fish tank. Now, there's a filter and a heater in here, which normally would be good, but there's goldfish in here. Now, as we know, goldfish need larger aquariums. This tank is even small for a beta fish. At least there is a filter and a heater if there was going to be a beta fish. Goldfish don't need heaters, so this heater is very pointless. But besides that, there's 5 goldfish in this tiny 1 or 2 gallon aquarium. Now the review is written kind of poorly. The gist of it is that they had 2 goldfish that were 5 years old. Goldfish get big, so clearly something's going on with these goldfish. Their growth has probably been stunted from being in a smaller aquarium their whole life. But supposedly, 2 of these goldfish are over 5 years old, and they're just your normal feeder goldfish. Don't know why they wanted to clarify that, but okay. But my favorite part is when the review goes on to say that because they have kept these goldfish alive for 5 years, that they are really good at keeping aquariums.
what?
What? This is clear that no research here has been done. 4 goldfish in a 1 or 2 gallon aquarium is crazy. I have no idea how these fish have lasted so long. There's literally no room in this tank for these fish to swim around. They're probably so stressed and so cramped in this tiny tank. I don't know what this person is thinking. You know we cannot do part 7 of this series without including some saltwater tanks, so this next one is what looks to be a pretty fancy, like all-in-one-esque saltwater aquarium. There looks to be like a screen on the bottom, maybe that's reading the temperature, it looks to be in Celsius. The corals in here seem to be doing really good. There's some LPS, some SPS. I don't see really where the light is coming from on this tank, so it must be up a little bit higher off camera. But the corals are not the problem. The problem is the fish. So this tank looks to be around 2 to 5 gallons. It's really hard to know, but it does not look bigger than 5 gallons. Now the clownfish will probably be fine in here short term if it is a 5-gallon tank. Obviously long term, that clown is gonna probably need around a 20-gallon tank or up. But the blue tang in here is the issue. Now blue tangs need around a minimum of 100 gallons as they start to grow. Obviously once they get bigger, you know, 120, 150, you know, bigger tanks when they get bigger, that makes sense. But even though this blue tang is really small, a 5-gallon tank for a blue tang is completely unacceptable. These fish swim a ton. They need to utilize that swimming space back and forth, up and down. They're very curious fish. They need to move. And this 5-gallon tank is not doing it for this poor tang. Honestly, hopefully the setup was temporary, although you really never know. I mean, the corals look to be grown in pretty well, and honestly, this tank would be awesome with maybe some smaller shrimp and just coral. Unfortunately, it is too small for fish. Now, it's honestly hard to even understand what's going on in this next aquarium. It's an assorted cichlid tank. There's some yellow lab cichlids, there's some jewel cichlids, but more importantly, this looks like the glassware section at Goodwill.
You know what? It's given very much
I don't know who thought it was a good idea to take all of their old vases, cups, glasses, whatever, and throw them into a fish tank. This looks hideous. This literally looks like a thrift store. I don't know what this person was thinking. I mean, everyone has their own opinion of what looks good, but this is honestly unacceptable. Like, what? I don't understand the logic behind this one. Maybe hiding spots for the fish because cichlids do like to, you know, weave in and out of the rocks. But these aren't rocks. This is like glasses, and they're see-through, so even if the fish were trying to seek shade or cover, they're see-through, so they would still be equally as stressed out and darting around. So I'm sure there has to be some sort of good backstory as to why this tank was set up in the first place. Unfortunately, I do not know it. I just saw this interesting aquarium and knew we had to talk about it. But if you're ever thinking of putting vases in your aquarium, I'd highly recommend just getting some, you know, some normal aquarium decor. Lava rock works great, driftwood, live plants. But honestly, to each their own. Last but not least, coming back with another saltwater aquarium. This is a Fluval Evo 13.5 gallon aquarium. I actually have that aquarium. It's not set up currently. I don't like that aquarium. I made a whole video like 2, 3, 4 years ago about why I hate that aquarium. It was very problematic for me. Regardless, this person has their Fluval Evo tank set up. Obviously low water level, not sure if that was evaporation or them just not setting it up properly. What you can't see is that right on the other side of this return nozzle, there's actually an overflow grate. So once the water in the tank fills up, it's supposed to overflow into that back sump section, or else the pump could possibly burn out because not enough water is getting to it. So this water level is obviously way too low. There's no way that enough water is getting through those little vents at the top. However, on these Fluval Evos, there is a little emergency drain thing at the bottom that in case the tank water level were to run low, the pump would still keep circulating water to obviously not kill off your fish. But letting your pump run dry like that is never recommended, so obviously that's our first red flag here. The next thing we see is the Clown Puke Rainbow Gravel. Now in saltwater aquariums, artificial decorations with these paints and colors generally are not recommended because saltwater breaks them down a lot faster than freshwater. That's why you don't see a ton of artificial stuff like that in saltwater tanks, because they simply just don't last and that paint can flake off and it's just overall not the best for saltwater. They are definitely tailored towards freshwater aquariums. So that's an interesting choice to go with for sure. And then in the middle, we have your standard live rock, nothing wrong with that. I can't tell if there's a fish in here or not. That might be a black ocellaris clownfish, or it might literally be a snail. I don't know, I can't really see. This picture's a little bit blurry. But I would assume this person is probably just finished setting up their aquarium and is probably looking to get fish here very soon. If I had one recommendation, actually I have two, make sure you always keep that water level high enough to where the surface skimmer on the Fluval Evo tanks can work properly. And I would also remove those artificial rocks in the bottom of the aquarium just because we wouldn't want any of that to like leach into the aquarium water. Regardless though, this little tank has potential. It just needs to be cleaned up a tiny little bit. But that is it for this week's installment of the Reacting to the Worst Aquariums I Could Find series. If you guys want to see part 8, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. I want to try incorporating these weekly, maybe doing my normal videos on Wednesday and then the reaction series on Sunday. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments down below. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching once again. I will catch you in the next video, and goodbye.